Hi everyone, Alchemist here. Today I'm going to address the second Hermetic principle, which is correspondence. There's 7 Hermetic principles, this is the second one, and they are the core or the fundamentals of the Corpus Hermeticum that was created by Hermes Trismegistus. And it is said that if you know how to apply the 7 Hermetic principles, you will access the knowledge and you will know how to exist and how to navigate existence throughout every plane of existence. So the second Hermetic principles, which is correspondence, states the following: as above, so below, as within, so without. And I'm sure many of you, if not most of you, have heard the saying, as above, so below. But not many people talk about as within, so without, but it is part of the correspondence principle. It is part of it. So what does that mean, as above, so below? What does that mean? That means that if you want to understand how, as above, how the universe, how the macrocosm, how everything in the universe works, all you need to do is to look in yourself, which is as below, which is the microcosm. So the reflection of the macrocosm is within you, and you are the microcosm. That's why as above, so below. We tend to think or believe that everything is just happening to us, that we are living in a society, we are living on planet Earth, in a world where things just happen, things are random, things are just forced on us. But I'm here to tell you that according to the second Hermetic principle, which I believe is very true, that everything that's happening in the universe and in other planes of existence, not only on this third dimension, everything that's happening in there, as above, is happening right inside of you, as below. As above, so below. So if you want to understand how things work, only look to yourself. If you want to understand how nature works, see how you work. Or vice versa, it works the same. As above, so below. As below, so above. So if you want to understand how you work, how things work, observe nature, observe the universe, observe animals. See how ants are living. See how insects are living. See how animals are living in the wild. See how the universe is working. See how the planets are working. Go to the ocean and see how water acts and how water flows and how it moves. Because that's a reflection of who you are. Which brings me to the second part, which is as within, so without. Whatever you see is you. Everything you see is your mirror. What you see is the reflection of yourself. The world you see around you is your reflection. It's like looking at yourself in the mirror. So look around you. Look at your house. Look at your place. Look at your room. Look at your family. Look at your environment. Look at your job. Look at where you are. Look at everything that you have in your life. Now, once you have a good grasp of these things around you, of the environment around you, I'm here to tell you that that's just a reflection of you, of who you are. Everything that's happening in your life, it's a reflection of you. So, and this ties into the first Hermetic principle, which I addressed in a previous video, and go check it out, it's a very cool video, which is mentalism. Because as above, so below, as within, so without, if everything is a reflection of who we are. And as above, so below. If the macrocosm is nothing but a reflection of the microcosm, which is us, that means that we are the creators, that we are gods, which is the first Hermetic principle that tells you that the all is mind. Which means that everything you create it from your mind, with your mind. So the Hermetic principles, not only they tell you how the universe works, but they're also connected to each other, which is very cool and interesting. But most human beings refuse to see correspondence here, the second Hermetic principle. They refuse to see it. They're always looking to blame someone for what's happening to them. Well, look at this person, they did that to me. Look at that person at work, they did that to me. Look at my boss, look at my parents. I came from a background of a family that didn't understand me, that didn't know who I am, blah, 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 blah. And we know how that goes. We all have been through that. We all have said that in the past. Everyone loves to dabble and talk about how everything was done to them. But the second Hermetic principle reminds us that everything in your life is a reflection of who you are. The second you start changing who you are deep inside, which is one of the main goals of alchemists, is to transmute yourself and transform. But how you transform? You transform inside by starting here. Because as within, so without. As above, so below. So everything inside that you start with yourself, when you start to transform and change yourself into the person you're supposed to be, into knowing thyself, then everything around you will reflect in the same way. So if you're having so much negativity in your life, try to transform and become positive. I know it sounds very hard. And then everything around you is going to become positive. If you don't like your environment, if you don't like your job, then quit your job. And then go and start doing the things that you want to do for you, for your own happiness. And then everything around you is going to look happy. That misery is going to drop from your life. We sometimes are surrounded by miserable people because deep inside, we're probably the miserable ones. This is fact. This is not a lie. And there's even the saying that says likes attract likes. It's for me, I don't think it doesn't necessarily mean that you literally attract the people who are like you. I believe that you create them. You create the environment that has the people who are matching your vibration, who are matching your energy, your power. So if you're depressed, you're going to have people who are depressed around you. If you're miserable, you're going to have miserable people. If you're happy and positive and ambitious, those are the people you're going to be surrounded with. But this is a very tricky process because if you change your vibration inside of you, again, as within, if you try to transmute and change to become a better person, it's not going to happen like this. All of this environment, all of the reality that was reflecting you is going to try to hold you back. Your friends, your family, your peers at work, your environment, your surroundings, everyone's going to try to hold you back because they're going to say, no, we need you here. Where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're changing? Excuse me, we need you here. We need you here so we can survive as well. So here, strength is very necessary. You have to be so strong. You have to be very, very strong in order to say, no, I'm out of here. I'm gonna create a new reality. And once you do that, everything will follow through. And then the new reality that's inside of you, of who you are, so you're not, you're more positive, you're more happy, you do the things that you want, you're aligned, you're healthy, you take care of your body, you do all of the things that you've been wanting to do for years and decades, and now you do them. So it's gonna take some time before you start seeing that change reflect in the reality around you. Nothing happens overnight. It's gonna be transitional. And then before you know it, after 6 months or 1 year, the reflection of who you are around you is gonna completely change. But you have to give it some time, you have to be consistent, you have to do your homework, as I keep saying all the time. You have to do your homework and give it some time, and then your reality will change. And that's what the Hermeticists and Alchemists were trying to say by the Correspondence law. As above, so below, as within, so without. Everything and everyone is connected. The macrocosm, the universe, the spirit realm, the unseen, as above, so below, is us. It's who we are. It's the same. How things work in the spirit realm is how they work in the material realm. Of course, there's some details, there's some small differences. I'm not saying that everything is exactly the same, but generally speaking, this principle is telling us that the holistic, when you look at it from a holistic perspective, how it works up there is how it works here. If you want to know how other planets work, just look at Earth. It's the same. There's going to be some differences. They're not going to be identical, but generally speaking, it's going to be the same fundamentals. So as above, so below, as within, so without, and what you are is what you reflect, is what you see around you. And the moment we start applying this knowledge, we start applying this secret wisdom, then life becomes like magic. It becomes magical. Because it actually works. In a very magical way. Sometimes miracles start happening. What people tend to say or tend to call miracles. But these miracles happen from within you. Which is what most religions and dogmas are against. Because they tell you that miracles come from God. It comes from somewhere else, from something else. You don't have the power. You're nothing but a mere tiny human being. You know, that's all you are. It's true, maybe you are a tiny human being, but you are powerful. You are also God. That's the secret that they don't want you to know. And that's why miracles don't happen to people anymore. And you know why they don't happen to people anymore? Because people have lost their powers, their inner powers. People don't know who they are. And that's why you don't have miracles in your life. The second you start knowing who you are, and the second you start transmuting yourself into your highest potential, then everything will become magical. Miracles are going to start happening in your life. And this is very interesting. But what people will complain about, or people will, state as miserable or depressing, or all of this negative, these negative things that people say, you're going to look at them and it's to you, it's going to become, it's not going to even be there for you. Because people's problems, they're not going to be your problems. Because if deep inside you don't have a problem, no problem is going to reflect in your life. So this is a very, very, very important Hermetic principle to remember, it really, like, the more you contemplate it and study it and apply it, you're gonna realize that it's basically how it works. But the only one way to find out is to try it out for yourself. You have to apply it. If you don't apply it, if you just say it, nothing's gonna happen. You have to apply it. And before I end this video, I want to remind you that it's geometrically speaking, it's represented by the hexagram, which is one of my favorite occult sacred geometry shape, and I have it in the Seal of Solomon here too. And the triangle pointing upwards is the representation of as above. The triangle pointing downwards is the representation of as so below. So as above up, so below down. This is a very important sigil in alchemy, and it's also the representation of the 4 elements: water, earth, air, fire. But it also represents the second Hermetic principle. I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.